Titled Two Truths and a Lie, the most recent episode of Yellowjackets definitely lived up to the title that it offered, with all of the characters having lies being told in the past and present day and truths slowly being uncovered. Episode 5 took us on a journey that showed us that the group had come together more while stuck in the wilderness, but also that the darkness was ever present but still growing. The opening shot, contrasting with the end, showed us that the calm had well and truly come before the storm. With there still being around 8 episodes left in the show, there's plenty more to come. So with that, let's recap, break down, and explain all that there was to take away from this episode. So let's get into it. Here is Yellowjackets Season 2 Episode 5, Ending Explained. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. As we embarked onto the ending of the episode, we saw that the darkness was ever present and it was something that was with the group in the present day. We saw Lottie utilize a technique on Nat to channel what was inside of her mind, rather than seeking out a fault in Lottie. It looked as though Nat was learning the cult's ways and starting to share their mindset by the way that she sent Misty away, and the fact that she didn't want her to be around. But it turned out that she was doing it because she felt as though she wanted to work by herself, and that she believed that she was getting closer to uncovering the truth on Lottie. However, she wasn't. We saw that Nat had a flashback to the last time that she saw Travis before he died, and she was on the verge of death. During being on the verge of death, she saw the plane wreckage if they hadn't survived, which had all of them as no more. The Antler Queen was standing over the plane wreckage, and in a quick one-frame shot, it looked as though it had Nat as the person who was dressed as it in the present day, with totally blacked out eyes. Within her vision that Lottie was channeling, when Nat was brought back to life, she said that she saw it, and that they brought the darkness back with them from the woods as it was out there with all of them all of those years ago, which is what Travis was referring to on the note when he said that Nat was right. The fearful nature in Lottie's eyes in the present day was something that showed that she was just as scared as everybody else, as realistically she wasn't the person that was causing all of this, otherwise she'd be in more control. She doesn't want it to happen. The final thing that we saw in the room was of the shadow of the Antler Queen looking as though it was within the room with them, with Nat's dark connection to what she saw between life and death. I do wonder if that could be the reason as to why it was in the room with them. It seemed as though it was moving in the way that Lottie was moving her head, so maybe the fact that she's having her hallucinations again, it shows that it's found its way to be present within her. Let's break the rest of the video down by the main characters. Let's start with Misty. Misty had such an interesting involvement in this episode in both the past and the present day. Within the past, we saw that she actually had a really dark side, and that she was the reason as to why the group was stranded in the middle of the wild. She was a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde. Misty and Crystal had started growing closer over the course of the episode, and they'd started telling each other truths, which was when she revealed that she damaged the plane's emergency transmitter as a way of getting revenge on all of them for treating her badly in the past. However, with Crystal looking as though she was going to tell the group, Misty essentially walked her back far enough so that she ended up falling off. We've not really seen a dark side to Misty before, and it was interesting to watch. She also lied to the group about what happened, so it showed us that she's prepared to cover things up to save her own skin. Misty did regret what happened, so it was almost like a rage took over her. Within the present day, she essentially said to Walter, "You think I'm a murderer," due to him thinking that she killed Adam. So it looks as though she never truly faced or addressed what she did from the moment that it happened. With Misty going to the compound right at the end of the episode, I do wonder what this means for her. I can't imagine her mindset getting brainwashed by the cult, but due to Nat not succumbing to the hold that they had, I do wonder if Misty will. With them also facing their internal demons within the cult, this could be where we as the audience and maybe Nat and Lottie find out about what happened to Crystal on that fateful night, and also the fact that she destroyed the emergency transmitter. Shauna. Shauna had a small but interesting and meaningful involvement in the most recent episode in both past and present. Within the past, we saw that she was starting to resist Lottie and her ways. They were formerly good friends and there for each other, and Shauna took comfort in Lottie. But it seemed as though in this episode, Lottie and her prayers, rituals, and haunting words were getting too much. Saying things like, "We can't wait to meet him and you're going to change everything" to Shauna's unborn baby was enough to send her on the run, because she was fearful of what Lottie was going to do. We know that Lottie can rally the group together, and Shauna knew that if Lottie said something that she could well be outnumbered, Hence why we saw the importance stressed on Tai when Shauna said that she just wanted her to have her back. It was interesting how when Shauna went into labor, the storm started. There was a strong focus on being one with nature in this episode, and Shauna's child being somewhat connected to that. I fear for Shauna and the labor that she's going to be going through, because I don't think it's going to be good once she gets out the other side, especially due to Lottie. Within the present day, we saw her trying to get the cops off of her tail by saying that the affair was with Randy and not Adam, but it wasn't a smart enough move to deter them away, because of course, Randy had to go and mess it up. It was on the verge of working, but Randy ruined it all. Tai and Vanessa. We got to see Tai and Vanessa actually speak with one another in this episode in the present day, and I wouldn't say that it was that important to this episode. We just saw that Tai had told Van about the alternative version of herself and that it had taken hold of her again. We did get a revelation though that Van was actually sick. She said that it was somebody in her family, but later on we saw Van have the medication. So I feel once Tai finds out, she's going to be extremely upset. When the alternative version of Tai took a hold of her towards the end of the episode, she said, "This isn't where we're supposed to be," which I thought was particularly interesting. Could this be alluding to the fact that they're not in the woods anymore? Or could it be alluding to the fact that the darkness is becoming ever present within the group in the present day? I think it's that, but either way, it doesn't look good. With it looking as though all of the group were going to be going to the compound in the next episode, I feel that could be what Tai was referring to when she mentioned about not being where they're supposed to be. After all, that Tai is the reason as to why she's there with Van. Lottie is the center of all of the darkness, hence why I feel they're going to be heading there. Overall review. I thought this was a good episode of the show. I liked the fact that truths and lies were at the center point of the episode, whether it be Misty and Walter getting to know each other more, Shauna lying to the police, or Misty lying to the group about what happened to Crystal. It showed that there was division between them all and it made for an entertaining watch. I enjoyed seeing the darker side to Misty and her voicing that she was the reason as to why they couldn't radio for help. She was the reason they were all there. Without her breaking it, they could have all been rescued. I would say that this was a relatively slow episode when compared to some of the others, but that doesn't mean that it wasn't enjoyable. Sometimes a show has to take its foot off the gas in order to make room to accelerate, which I think is going to happen in the next couple of episodes. Javi didn't say much other than the fact that his friend told him to not go back. I wonder who this could be. There was a sense of fear of Lottie that he held when he looked over at her, but I do wonder if he hallucinated and believed that he had somebody that was there. I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen in the next episode, especially seeing as though all of the group are going to be reunited in the present day. So, there you have it, Yellowjackets Season 2 Episode 5, Ending Explained. If you want to see more videos such as Endings Explained, theories and predictions, and character breakdowns, then click on the I button, or alternatively you can head over to my channel where you'll find them all. If you'd like to give me a show or movie that you'd like me to review, then head over to my Twitter, @brainpilot_, and tweet me what show or movie you'd like me to review next. And finally, if you'd like to see what I rate the latest movies that don't quite make the cut to getting a dedicated video, then head over to my Letterboxd profile. It's where I rate the latest releases in real time. What did you think of this episode? Leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.